I want to just first extend a happy celebration of the birth of the Messiah Day. Um, I am working on a Christmas present for everybody. The Lord, and I have to share with you what happened. The Lord just gave me, on a personal level, one of the greatest confirmations I've ever had. It is a confirmation on a personal level.
Something's going to be revealed tomorrow.
As a servant, just if your boss were to call you into his office and say, "Hey, I want to tell you, you did a great job this year."
Whether if it would be the second 9/11,
if a boss were to do that for an employee that had been really diligently working,
or it's not, and then
it would just make the
employees the truth is revealed to all the employees.
My boss, I serve the King, I serve the Most High, and he did the most surprising, it's the greatest thing he could have done for me, was to give me just the perfect peace of heart and peace of mind. Job well done, Jonathan. And the way he did it was so mind-boggling. I wasn't expecting it.
I'll give it to you, Clark.
It just happened out of nowhere. And
the way I've heard what you've been saying, and you've been showing the people that can see, I've been doing the best that I can on my end to show the same thing. It's just a communication and a belief system. If you believe that you can communicate that way, and then you actually are, well, then you just created your own belief into reality. So back since the beginning of January, mainly February, at the end of February, where you finally had my name out loud to make it clear that you're paying attention to my channel, and then I just continued to show who you are in the world, which is the truth. It's all I'm doing is exposing things that are lies and then bringing light to the truth. When you have all this control on the planet and you're demonstrating at the very least your involvement in the world's decisions on economics and religion and whatever needs to be in the media, you can make it happen in the media immediately. Without a problem.
Is to want to know why.
So I've learned, now I've given people credit. I've given Stephen James DeShawn credit for being the biggest liar on the planet, because I figured out how to read the codes and the sign languages, and because of Steve, I was able to decode quickly the ShopRite manager's mask symbol, because it's a Masonic thing. It's just what it is. But you truly are the one that has been able to communicate these things. I don't know how long you've been trying to get my attention. I'll know soon. Like, all my questions will be answered with just facts and truth, and to make it more of a combination package, and then move on with the way things are written out in Scripture to happen, that nobody thought was going to happen. This is all about faith. We're in a real live game show contestant, Who Wants to Be America's Next Top Messiah, game show contestant show that everybody is being graded for what you're doing. You're being graded for your your faith, your belief, how much faith you have, what you know, and what you do. Because I've known all my life that people were watching, just didn't understand why. I've always felt like people are watching. Maybe it was paranoia, you can say that, but I wasn't paranoid as a child. This was a natural thing that I felt from the time I can remember thinking out loud or in my head. I remember that because you're trying to figure out where the hell, like when you first remember thinking, what were you thinking? Like when were you, did you wonder where the hell you came from? Why all of a sudden you're this little thing, like everybody's taller than you, and like why am I here? I always had that sense, regardless, and then it come to find out that I'm right. I mean, you don't think gang stalking just started, do you? No, it's just started to become more aware, the surveillance of it all, but it's been here my entire life. But when did you guys start paying attention to me? Was it because I got on YouTube, or did you know me years in advance, like when my son was born, like around that time, like 2002, right around when Kleck said that he got saved in an alleyway. And so that was 18 years ago. So I'm just curious to know how long have you guys like known that I came into existence, and why did you even have any interest in me? Because I definitely was surveilled more. I mean, before my YouTube career, I remember being surveilled because my sister's boyfriend got in trouble, and then we were over there, so it's like they when one person gets in trouble and you're around them, they want to know what you're up to as well. But I didn't know that it was just something that happens to everybody. But being able to talk, being able to communicate this entire year was pretty fun, because I know the feeling, and I also know that there's other thoughts of other spirits that have a negative thinking pattern, or just have doubt, or get irritated slightly, or start to hate you really much so because you think that you can actually communicate with people that you're saying runs the planet and has everything to do with what's happening. And if you read in Daniel, this is the part where being raised up for 3 years. I mean, Derek Broze has willingly admitted being the vice CEO of Paramount Pictures and giving these billionaires their Faucian bargains, which means if you're the one getting them those deals, you would have the money to do that, right? But you don't need the money because it's not about money. You don't even need it when your family, the Rockefellers or the Rothschilds, they are the ones that came up with the currency. You guys have other ideas because you're very intelligent and you come up with, you know how people are. You've been surveilling them your entire life. You know people inside and out. And that kind of would make you God. Like, that's when you know what people are doing, you can tell them everything about their life and they have no idea. You've been watching them their entire life. You would think like, man, you must be God. Well, I mean, didn't Christ say ye are all gods? Everybody's a god in their own, whatever they've created, they are the god of that. The gods of basketball. You don't have to worship those gods, but I mean, a god is like something that can do something that nobody else can. A god is the father of something that they created. So when the first person created a basketball, it's like, oh wow, I can shoot this thing. That was the god of the basketball creator. He was the first one to do it. and he created something out of nothing. So it's all these gods, but which God are you? And everybody just, if everybody is just in line with who they are, and they know that they've played tricks on people and it's time to stop tricking people and just tell the truth, and you run the planet, how hard can that be? It's like, all right, everybody, we're going to worship the God of Daniel. Anybody have a problem with it? I would suggest that you don't. I run the planet. This is where I'm heading. You don't like it? All right, well, you'll see how that free will thing, if you still didn't learn, you're going to learn that free will thing. The free will goes a long way. And then once you finally do it on your own, you realize you failed. That's when God is waiting right there to say, look, I mean, I know how it is. It takes a while to get it. No hard feelings. Just let's move on now. Now that you've learned your lesson, and I don't have to force you to learn it that way. You just learned it on your own because you voluntarily did it. But this other religion being created, making you feel like you have to do that, that's got to go. It's got to go, and I just need a little bit of authority. Just a little badge somewhere, a new outfit, a ticket book, and some handcuffs, and an intimidating car that says something on there like how, like law enforcement or federal law enforcement agent. So I can actually go into every single store and get them opened up and get those people to get off their high horse and stop feeling like they can make up their own rules. But this was quite an interesting year. And to think this too. Kleck's not even paying attention to you, Robert. I mean, yeah, he did say your name in the beginning of the year. Yeah, he did say, I mean, when he said call you nerd, he looked like he loved you, but, and then he's pretended he hated you at the end, calling you a shill when he knows damn well that you're not. But you're talking to this person on the other end, and you're saying that he knows what's going to happen in the planet, and he's led, like he actually lived up in heaven at one point and he came down here, and then to come down here,
People everywhere living with type 2 diabetes are waking up to what's possible.
I want that house right there. I'll take it right in the island, something like that, because there's people that have done, like there's even federal agents that are not enforcing the law because they got paid to just shh. They have houses like that. There's people in Hollywood that, I mean, you're just acting. That's all you're doing is acting. And you have houses like that. And I've been working for free for these past 3.5 years, boss. You think I can get like maybe just a badge, a badge that says this person here has the authority to tell you, and you over there, Mr. Money Exchanger, Trader Joe, he has authority to lay down the law, enforce it because it's right, and if you don't comply that very moment, he has the authority to put handcuffs on you and take you into his intimidating car to the federal jail. I'll still do that for free. I don't need money to do it. I just need a gas card. Just give me a card. I'm going to want to eat some food here and there. And just a place to live so I don't have to pay rent anymore. That way I don't have to worry about paying bills. So basically what I'm saying is I'll do this barter system type thing because I know that you guys have you own the land, you own everything we see. You have the ability to take it or give it to anybody you choose. So I just want a home. I want to go to my new home. I want my wife and my son to finally see me for who I am and what I've been doing and how important it was to stick with me for these 3.5 years. They didn't like it all the time, my son and my wife, still at certain points. But it's coming, honey. I know, you've been saying it for the past 3 years. Only if you knew that that's exactly how long I was supposed to be saying it for. We get to a halfway point, which is an end point for others, and the beginning for the rest. And if you don't know, you're like kind of left behind. You're one of those people in the field that are just, you're going to be left behind. You have no idea like what truly is happening. But it's time for my family to see that what I've been doing for free was something that impact the people behind the scenes that run this world. But how does that happen? How can that possibly happen? The one idea was always the second 9/11 in Philly happening the exact way that I seen it happen, which is nobody dies. They send holographic explosions at first and throw confetti out in the paper and make smoke rise up with their holographic technology. And then they have enough time to get everybody, those robots go around, they get everybody out of the way to make sure there's nobody anywhere. And then when they implode the building, that gets rid of the evidence of the holographic bombing, because how can you set a holographic bombing without the building going down to get rid of the evidence that it was not holographic, that it was actually real? But if it was actually a hologram, and you're over here in this W building looking over where the One World Trade Center is now, but where the two were, and this is the observatory, where's the other observatory going to be in the twin city, the sister city, with two other buildings that represent a tie-in with with the way they communicated from New York to Philly, from the Statue of Liberty to Willie, and from the Liberty 1 and Liberty 2 with the Statue of Liberty, and Tower 1 and Tower 2 going down at 8:46 a.m. and then George Floyd gets his neck kneeled upon for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And then 9:03, the next one, the North and the South Tower, Tower 1 and Tower 2. So that's why the Liberty 1 and Liberty 2 also represent male and female, because the rod of iron on the one would represent the male, obviously, and then the shorter one, the one without the rod, is the female. Then Building 7 collapsed in New York, and Penn Center Building 8, 17th and JFK, that turning it, it even looks like it on the $100 bill too, but mainly the $50 bill, when you turn it and fold it and you go that way, and it's the identical lip at the top where the bombing is. Looks like it's at the 3rd floor, because the 3rd floor would represent Abaddon Sheep Slaughter 3, and on top of that, it's actually on Route 3, which is JFK Boulevard, Jonathan Kleck Boulevard, and then Wells Fargo, Jonathan Vargo Kleck. The money, artwork printed on it, folding it, showing bombings, future bombings that haven't happened yet. So that would be one heck of a Christmas present to all of my family, all of my friends, all the YouTube people, all the trolls, all the agents, all the people that I've ever told about this happening. But I'm telling you, the way it's happening, nobody's actually dying, even if they said that people died. Because the first time this happened, you know what the first responders do. You know those people on TV that you see, they're there first, and they have a story to say. So for some reason, a lot of them just think sounds like they're reading, but I would just assume if you were really being interviewed, you're a real person, and you would probably talk from the top of your head, and there wouldn't be a script to read. However, it makes it easier to believe the story. What a gift. No deaths, no injuries. There was a destruction of temples. The first two temples in New York may have represented what was. Like the first Adam that fell and Eve was lured into it, and then the second Adam and the last time, it's the destruction of the towers, because they do things literally and then behind the scenes spiritually to connect it. So what you've seen happen with the first 9/11 was the destruction of the two into one system, which was meant for a different, Luciferian way. And then the second time around, two towers going down, representing it would just be getting rid of the old system with the new. But does that even have to happen? It doesn't have to happen. Because the other way of this being a great Christmas gift and people being able to understand it would be for Jonathan Clegg to just tell the truth to the people that he's getting ready to tell the truth to. He's been paying attention to my channel all year long, and what he's been communicating to me, I've been reciprocating it back and forth, and he'll tell you himself there's about 2,500 videos that will prove it. Even before I've even known what Clegg is and whoever, the things I've been revealing to them, nobody really knows besides them and my faith that they know. So with the things I've been revealing, that's why the ones that can't see, they would call me a false prophet at times, because they just can't see it's impossible to see it. When their own boss sent a strong delusion, they are not going to be able to see it until their boss tells them the truth. So to tell them the truth is, this was a game show contestant, real live, reality, Truman type, surveilling, gang stalking situation. And who endorsed City N? Who else are they surveilling? It's not just me. But we're all getting grades. We're in Babylon. This is the Bible. It is being fulfilled. They do have their vision. It does fail. We're at that point right now. The vision that fails is the covenant that's broken halfway through, in the midst of the actual week that it happens. So the idea is to find everybody had a chance to decipher what Clegg is trying to show you, because he's been doing this out of anybody I know on YouTube the most. He's given me the most understanding of what's happening in the world, and with the entire, everything. Never thought for a second the landscape at the art museum would have anything to do with a double reproductive system, and how the surgeries are, and then the options of, you want a concealed weapon, or you want a absentee, or you want to mail it in, which one you want to do. And so all these things that normally, if I cared what people thought negatively, I wouldn't have been doing this, because you can think it's perverted and it's sexual, and you just get offended with it. This is the landscape of our planet in my city that has so much, the snake rising up from the sea, all of it right here in Philly, down the road. But all this stuff that is noticeable It truly is about who can interpret the king's dream. Who can, because not only do you need to interpret his dream that he had, but you need to tell him what his dream is. You have to tell him what his dream is and interpret his dream. For him to tell you what the dream is, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I know what that is now. It's easier to interpret it. When you have to interpret the actual dream itself and tell the king what he's even saying and what it means, because you have to tell him, all right, first of all, what is he even saying? This is what he's saying. Now, who is he saying it to? What does it all mean? And interpret it and tell him. That's what I've been doing all this year. All that attention that I've been giving Jonathan Kleck, which is like, some people told me to stop making videos, you're wasting your time. Well, I know that Tracy McGrady and John from Denver were the two people that encouraged me to go after Jonathan Kleck and put an end to it. And, like, check it out. And I did with that mindset, and then I turned and understood, like, wow, I got it all wrong. This is not the way it is. So I could see where people were judging him because I had done it. And I also said I had a problem with gay people preaching the Bible at one point. Because I'm judging that fact, because I'm thinking, but what if you're not? Even if you're not? And so what if, even if you are you lying about anything? The main thing is, whatever your sexual preference is, whatever you got down there or don't got, what are the words that are coming out of your mouth? Is it truth? Or are you still a liar? That's the biggest commandment. Thou shalt not lie anymore. Number one. Because when you stop lying, then the second one is love your God with all your heart, which is the Lord God in heaven, with all your heart, mind, and soul. And then love your neighbor and treat them as equal as you would want to be treated. You treat them the same exact way. I was treated wrong by you guys, a lot of you, but I don't hold grudges of it, because there was a lot of times I deserved to be treated certain ways because of my attitude. But to be lied about, that's part of Satan, and he's got to come after me and test me and tempt me and try to devour me as soon as I'm born into this system, which is YouTube, back in April 2nd, 2017. That was my birthing into this system. And then exactly 9 months later, Derek Bros, the guy that gives all the people their $1 billion Faucian bargains, that commented on my channel to make it known to me that he's paying attention, which I thoroughly appreciate too, because it was another sealed deal of, all right, there's a possibility that what they're saying in videos, it might be referring to me. It might. And even if it isn't, I'll just believe that it is, and then I'll talk back. And then they keep showing me in return that I'm getting it right. So even Derek Bros, that dragon that rose up, looking to devour any spiritual Christ truth on the YouTube platform, then being raised up for 3 years. We're at the end of the 3 years in 7 days. We're at the end of the 3 years of Derek Bros' channel. Whether he's a dragon or not, like I said, it doesn't matter, because the ones that are behind the scenes, everybody knows what Scripture is. I'm finally getting to the point of understanding the exact ending of it. So there's not much trickery left that can be played out. So once you know that part, there's no point in pretending about anything anymore. We're at the very end. We're going to find out what the truth is, and we're going to find out who on the planet from the outside got the most things right in this classroom of when Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in. It was a science class type of world economic, the entire system. I would just assume that's what that was. I heard it was a science class, but science doesn't just mean the stars in the skies, because we all know what they really are anyway. So the science obviously means the whole the way the system is ran. And so in that classroom, those 4 got the highest grades. That's why they were favored above the rest, but they still were thrown through the fire. Daniel was still thrown in the lion's den. But Darius knew that the God that he serves continually is going to deliver you. He already knows that. And then after that happens, those that broken promises, they get thrown in. Their wives, you know the story. They get devoured by the lion. The actual lion, the lion of the tribe of Judah. What we shut is the liar's mouth. We shut that lion up. He kept lying. I had to shut him up. Such a lion. But that's why it's time to go to the next phase. All I'm asking for really are just a couple things. Retirement, a nice, beautiful home that is peacefully where you can easily put in a property of a land in Florida that is a beautiful place. And I like my truck the way it is. I would like to have a newer car, of course, my choice and my wife's. And to appreciate life when you can live a luxurious life, but you actually earned it by telling the truth and sticking up for God for the past 3.5 years, being harassed by everybody and anybody that Derek and Click could have thrown my way, and Steve and whoever else, because I was being tested. You gotta figure out, can I handle this? You don't want anybody leading any kind of cult if they can't handle their cult. The people in their cult, you got to handle your prospects. So it's trials and errors, and it's being refined and watching the refinement as it goes, and then I start revealing some other things to those, and then I start to get to know who you are and all the titles and everything that you're playing out in the Bible right now. It takes a lot of thought. Derek said at one point, a lot of thought, and just and the love that you have. Well, I'm only talking to a device, really, and it's not like I actually see people. That's the greatest thing about this. I just was talking to myself. People started to listen. And then now I get best buddies that run the planet. Yeah, I mean, you can believe it or not, but those that are getting ready to experience that, you're going to see that it was true. And it was all about faith from the beginning.